Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. This is probably the coolest and most unusual Bell & Ross I have ever reviewed, and I've reviewed their tourbillon pieces. This, launched in 2012 in a series of 25 pieces, is the Platinum Bell & Ross WW1 Heure Sautante, a timepiece 42mm in diameter with wire lugs. Vintage inspired, yes, but full sized. On my 16cm circumference wrist, the 42 wears effortlessly, a little bit like a Resonance Type 1 or Type 3, or a wire lug Panerai radiometer. The timepiece is not thick, despite being a modular complication. It's only 11.8mm thick, so it wears low on the wrist with a domed bezel. It will slide easily under a dress cuff. The timepiece is 49mm lug to lug, but wire lugs wear differently from conventional lugs. Effectively, this is a 42mm watch that could be almost considered lugless because of the way the lugs simply drape the strap around the wrist rather than flaring out strident and strong like on something along the lines of a Rolex Super Case or an IWC Big Pilot. So I recommend it for a wrist as small as 13.5cm circumference despite the 42mm size. The strap is narrow, this being a vintage inspired form, essentially the image of a pocket watch with lugs welded on, a la World War I. It features an 18mm strap spacing, which is very vintagey. Narrow straps and narrow spacings being one of the hallmarks of older mid-century or early 20th century timepieces. The watch has a large rectangular scale alligator leather anthracite strap. It's neither black nor gray. You can see it's a semi-gloss. It has a monotone stitch and a folded edge. It's fairly substantial. This is a new Bell & Ross factory strap in excellent condition. It's calfskin on the underside, and you will note that it is a matching platinum pin buckle. Let's get that little tag off there. It offends my sensibility. It's more persistent than I am. But it's a lovely little buckle. As you can see inboard, the ampersand is polished and relieved, and around it, the base of that small flourish is actually sandblasted, so the attention to detail is quite rich. This is going to drive me crazy, guys. There we go, boom. Victory at sea. Okay, now the case band itself is lovely and polished, and as you can see, quite minimalist. If the idea was to create the image of a pocket watch with welded lugs for trench use during World War I, well, mission accomplished. It's a good look, it's simple. There's really only one strong horizontal that's visible on the wrist, and that's the junction of bezel and midcase. As you can see, once again, attention to detail here. It has a bit of an onion style, sharply knurled crown with a blasted base surrounding a relieved and polished ampersand logo. Those things just zing me when companies get real granular with the design. Now, the dial of the watch features a very small hand guilloche surrounding a center dial with radial minutes. There is a leaf-style hand that has been blued. There's a power reserve tracing the 42-hour power reserve down at 6 o'clock, and there is a jump hour. So it is a power reserve and a two-feature regulator. It is a two-register regulator with minutes and hours. Now, outboard, there's a sort of opaline, it's a ruthenium color. I can't say for a fact it's a ruthenium coat. It may be galvanized, but it is a lovely look. And as you can see, the jump hour is a fun and animated piece to enjoy. The module itself, actually created by Vincent Calabrese, independent watchmaking maestro and co-founder of the AHCI, which counts among its members, the likes of Dufour and Voudelaine and F.P. Journe. So he's a big deal, and the work he does is always best in the industry. Top of the line type stuff. So for Bell & Ross to go all in on a Calabrese module, you know that they cared about the outcome here. 25 pieces in platinum. Not many folks would have the pleasure. And as you can see, the watch is remarkably water resistant. 50 meters, I would have expected something along the lines of 20 to 30, a dress watch style water resistance, so I'm impressed right there. I'm also impressed that Bell & Ross didn't go with a basic ETA 2892 driving tractor caliber underneath. You can see that balance right there with the splayed spoke is either top or chronometer grade, and it's probably a Nivarox 1 hairspring. It's nicely decorated, as you can see, one of the higher grades of finish that you could order from ETA, and it is a real ETA, not a Solida. You can see it has a combination of Côte de Genève, perlage, and blued screws, nicely executed. It beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour. Though the watch does not feature a seconds register, I just demonstrated that it does retain hacking seconds, for which you may find some use. 42-hour power reserve, it's a bidirectional winder and thus very smooth with no rattle, no real audible action on the wrist, nor can you feel it wobbling. So it's a very discreet winder, and because it's a very thin movement, well under 4 millimeters thick, even with the module, this winds up being a very slim timepiece. A beautiful way to go with a dress watch that isn't simply another Calatrava. This is a timepiece that has immense presence, and it's not really a Bell & Ross for Bell & Ross guys. If you're into your instruments, if you're into your divers, just pretend this one doesn't exist. This is for guys who are into old school Cheryl Genta or Bulgari, independent horology, high horology, and dress watches that can wink and nod to those who are into the weird stuff. This is a connoisseur's piece. I like it, and if your tastes parallel mine at all, well, you might like it too. 25 pieces, 42 millimeters platinum, jump hour regulator power reserve, the Bell & Ross WW1 Heure Sautante.